Yo, what is up, everybody? And today we are back on the channel with the same old Madden 26 Tennessee Titans CFM. Man, I'm glad to be back, even though it's only been like 2 days. But today we are looking to take on the Houston Texans for the second time this season, looking to get that season sweep at home coming off of our bye week, also before the bye week, coming off that 3 point loss to, I believe, the still undefeated Houston, not Houston Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers. Sorry about that. But for the Houston Texans, their season ever since they played us has not been the best. Even they when they played us the first time, they were 2-1. Then they lost to us, and then after that, they have kind of sputtered. Their only two wins since then was a sim game against the Baltimore Ravens, and then they had a 38-24 dub against the San Francisco 49ers about, I think, 2 or 3 games ago. But in the last 2 weeks, they took a forced loss to the Denver Broncos, a team which we beat in week one. Well, I guess it doesn't really count because for them it was a forced loss, so I can't really compare it. But then last week, they actually got season swept by the Jaguars. So the Houston Texans are very different from us. They were 0-2 in the division, while we, as the Titans, are 3-0 in the division, looking to make it 4-0 as you see those crispy uniforms we got on there. And you see the Texans, they are loaded with these superstar X Factor abilities. They have six of them. They have three superstars. I mean, three X Factors, two on offense, and then one on defense. And then they have two superstars on defense, and then CJ Stroud on offense with his superstar ability. As you see here, we are in the Music City as the Houston Texans are looking to kick it away with Tommy Townsend as we are underway here. Kimere DK is going to have a chance to return this one. Kimere DK has a hole, making everybody miss, but he cannot escape at the end of it. Man, we were very close to having a kick return touchdown there. We were one defender away as we handed off to Tony Pollard on the stretch. Tony Pollard jukes back inside, tries to juke another man, but he cannot get away. Wait for it. Just let me get it. Kamari Lassiter had a touchdown saving tackle there as now on first and 10 from the 23-yard line, we hit it up to Kimere DK up the seam as he hung on to that. That was an amazing catch to hang on to. As see, that was Derek Stingley who had the tackle there as we try to get it to Calvin really on that slant route, but kind of threw it to the back of, I believe that was EJ Speed. Now we didn't put Chig Okonkwo on that drag route as we throw it right back to Chig Okonkwo, but luckily for us, Aziz Al-Shire was facing the opposite direction. But if we did not have Chig Okonkwo on that drag route, we would have had a touchdown, and obviously now we don't have a touchdown as Danielle Hunter there was to force the ball away from Cam Ward as we were looking for Kimari DK on that drag route, but does not get there. Joey Sly has his easy field goal up and good, and Joey Sly is also still perfect on the season, has not missed a field goal or extra point as Jalen Noel gets the kickoff return up to the 28-yard line. But going back to that first and goal play, man, oh man, that was so unlucky. I saw the the Texans in that little man coverage. I was like, so let me put Chico Conquo on a little drag route, and my read at first was supposed to be Chico Conquo, but then I was like, you know what? When I hiked the ball, it's like I totally forgot about it. I just threw it to Calvin Ridley, and kind of goes back to say we probably should have just left that play how it was as Higgins on the catch tries to work his way up the left sideline but cannot escape. But we would have had the touchdown if we simply just stuck to what we were actually planning to do and hit Chico Conquo on that drag out as Joe Mixon spins back inside. And something about these Texans, Joe Mixon, last time we played him, now I don't know if he was having the best like first half. I mean, not the best first half, the best second half. But in that first half, he was carving us up. I believe he had like 100 yards on like 6 carries before halftime, and he was actually also the first one who he scored the first touchdown of the game. It was like a 60, 70-yard rush for a touchdown after no, maybe like a 50-yard rush after we threw that interception on the second play of the game as CJ Stroud looking for Tank Dell just dropped the ball. I don't know why he dropped that because he was little scared of the contact there. It's 3rd and 10 now in an obvious passing situation. Texans are way within field goal range, though. CJ Stroud just gets it underneath to Higgins, who makes a juke move. Higgins gets blown up by Cody Barton. And that is Dalton Schultz with a dislocated shoulder. He will not be able to return for the game. And I actually had to end a voiceover for this reason because I was very confused on what happened as CJ Stroud on the RPO gets it outside for an easy touchdown. Man, oh man, that could not have been more of a gimme there. But what I was saying, that 4th and inches play, I actually realized I don't know where the play went. I ended the whole voiceover because I was so confused. I was like I was looking at it and I was thinking to myself, what happened to the play? But what happened on that play? It wasn't anything that you guys really missed. As you see, the Texans didn't really get a lot of yards. It was simply just they went the QB sneak up the middle with CJ Stroud. He obviously got it. We have not been able to stop the QB sneak. Well, obviously we haven't been able to stop him, but not a lot of people have ran it on us as Cam Ward going for Chico Conquo, who just makes the grab. A little bit of an inaccurate throw by Cam Ward, but not too inaccurate as obviously Chico Conquo was. I mean, it was still an amazing grab as we handed off to Tony Pollard up the middle for a gain of 8. But yeah, like I was saying, it wasn't that much for a Texans. It was just a QB sneak, and also not a lot of people have ran the QB sneak on us. I think the Chargers were actually like the first team to run it on us. They ran it twice, 2 or 3 times last week. The first time they ran it, they got the first down as Danielle Hunter. Oh my goodness, he absolutely nuked Cam Ward as Joey Slye will have a 50-yard field goal that is easily up and good. But like I was saying, I think Justin Herbert he had one for a first down last week, and then the second one he had was a touchdown. But we have to find a way to stop it without like breaking the rules of the league. So hopefully I can find something, maybe hop in practice mode, just find something that will stop the QB sneak without breaking the rules of the league. Obviously, those rules being I can't be like line lurking, which is bringing a linebacker or safety up to the line of scrimmage and like saying and like lining him up like in between the center and the guard. Or you guys know how it works. Like if you guys like really watch Madden or play Madden and those like comp leagues, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. But I guess for an easy example, you see how I'm like using Cedric Gray. If I brought him down like right on top of the center, that's basically what line lurking would be, and I can't do that, or I'm gonna probably face a hefty suspension, which I would not like. As Joe Mixon comes back to put the Texans in the shotgun, they hand it off to him, but he will not have a lot there. Now 3rd and 5 with the first quarter over. Now into the second quarter. CJ Stroud dropping back to pass, going over the middle, a diving catch by Tank Dell. And man, oh man, if we were a little bit quicker, we might have had a pick with Cody Barton, but obviously not a fast enough reaction time as Mr. I'm gonna call him Mr. OO. I promise you guys, I will not even try to pronounce his name unless I get somebody to pronounce it for me. As Xavier Woods picks off C.J. Stroud, Xavier Woods breaks one tackle. Xavier Woods, one man to beat. The 40, he's gonna get away from C.J. Stroud, and Xavier Woods is on a runaway train. His next stop, the end zone, as Joey Sly has the PAT up and good. Yeah, I am actually really lucky on that play. That was a really lucky play for me because you guys saw I followed Xavier Woods with Tank Dell there, but or I believe it was Nika Collins on that play. But you saw if you on that left side of the field, it left a man wide open as CJ Stroud just dots it into Nico Collins there. It left a man wide open, and I had switch sticked off Xavier Woods because I thought he saw it, but he did not see it as Joe Mixon on the stretch gets about an 11-yard gain before getting taken down. But luckily enough, Xavier Woods stayed in coverage for about 2 or 3 more steps, and he got that interception, and we were able to take it back to the house. And Harrison Bryant tried to make that tackle on Xavier Woods, but he absolutely, or I shouldn't say, like it wasn't a regular tackle. He really went for that big hit, but it did not work. And Xavier Woods actually leads our team in interceptions over a season. As you see, Joe Mixon is lit up. He gets a 1-yard gain, 55 rushing yards for him on the day so far. Play clock under 10. The Texans dropping back to pass. C.J. Stroud is passing it in for Tank Dell, who will have himself an easy touchdown. Oh man, they got right past that Tampa 2, and this is why I say Tampa 2 is well. I actually, you know what? No, Tampa 2 is one of the worst defenses to run in Madden, and I will stand on that. Tampa 2 is actually one of the worst defenses to run. Now, if I made a couple good switch sticks, we might have had another pick right there, but obviously I didn't as Tony Pollard. Oh my goodness, what an amazing dive by, I believe that was Kamari Laster, and his name comes up a lot when I do these, when I've been doing these videos, or I shouldn't say videos, but last time we played the Texans, his name has come up a lot, and so far his name is coming up a lot too. But Kamari Lassiter earlier, he saved what was probably a touchdown as we try to get to Elegani Mark over the middle, but the ball is forced out. Now 3rd and 4, and Joey slides field goal range, but we hand it off to Tony Pollard up the middle. Tony Pollard gets about a yard and a half, but they call it 4th and 2, and obviously we can go for this. 4th and 2 or shorter. We hand it off to Tony Pollard up the middle. Tony Pollard has some space, and Tony Pollard runs into Calvin Ridley, who got knocked down there, and maybe we could have had a lot more as we run another play before the 2-minute warning. We get it on the stretch to Tony Pollard. He escapes from Derek Stingley, but does not get much more. I shouldn't say escapes, but he was dragged by Texans defenders there as we throw it to Chigo Conquo, who makes a man miss, and Chigo Conquo breaks a tackle. Well, breaking a tackle wouldn't have mattered. He still is easily into the end zone there, and man, oh man, that was another lucky play for us. A catch animation so bad that it actually worked. You see, now if that was a regular catch animation, I'm sure the Texans might have brought down Chico Conquo at around like the 15 to 10 yard line, but that little jump made the Texans guy dive a little too far and got us in for the end zone. But now we try to hold on to the 6 point lead before halftime. And CJ Stroud gets it outside to Tank Dell, who works his way back inside, and Tank Dell is taken down at the 47-yard line. Now the Texans need about maybe 10, 15 more yards to get in Kaimi Fairbairn's field goal range, and this is not going to help them as Jonathan Greenyard gets his first sack of the game. Now 2nd and 22, Texans caught their second timeout of the half. CJ Stroud going on that little streak route to Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon still lit up. He gets it to 3rd and 5 now. Joe Mixon in motion here. Texans do not call their third timeout. CJ Stroud dropping back to pass, getting it over the middle for Higgins. And Higgins breaks one tackle but does not get much more. Texans call their last timeout with 29 seconds left to go. They hand it off to Joe Mixon up the middle. Now they have to work a hurry-up offense or spike the ball on 2nd and 1. In that hurry-up, not looking to spike the ball. 20 seconds left. Got to be aware of that clock. No timeout. CJ Stroud going to the outside for Tank Dell. And Tank Dell actually cooked us there. We were using Chidobe Awuzie, and we got absolutely cooked. CJ Stroud looking to pass it again. CJ Stroud has to make a good move here, and he is just taken out of bounds. We tried to keep him in bounds, but it did not work. 8 seconds. Texans still calling plays. Need to get the ball out of bounds or go for the end zone. Nico Collins, he is in for the touchdown on that comeback route. And luckily for the Texans, they are able to take a 1 point lead there. Now, Tommy Townsend looking to kick it away. He's just going to kick it out of the back of the end zone, not give the Titans a chance for any theatrics. It's now 1st and 10. You see the Texans all the way backed up in that man 3 deep. We hand it off to Tony Pollard on the counter, try to see if he can do anything, but he's taken down by Jalen Petrie after a 7-yard gain. And a good half so far, and I can say maybe not the best defense from us. I mean, if I would have put, I don't know who the safety was on that left side. If I would have put him in a curl flat like I probably should have, then the Texans would not be going into halftime with a 1 point lead. Also getting the ball, as you see, Nico Collins and Joe Mixon are both lit up here as Xavier Woods dives for the tackle, but ultimately Cody Barton was the one who brought him down. 2nd and 9 here. Play clock winding down. CJ Stroud looking at pass, jawing up a little mesh spot concept as he throws it a little bit too high there for his man Harrison Bryant. Now 3rd and 9 and a 5 wide here. CJ Stroud making adjustments to the play, dropping back to pass. Obviously, CJ Stroud running out of time. CJ Stroud is sacked by Jonathan Greenyard with that. Oh my God, that Axiom helmet is beautiful. I mean, Come on, y'all got to skip. Y'all got to skip back like 10 seconds to see a replay on that. That axiom helmet is something else. But Jonathan Riard gets his second sack of the game, and he has been a good pickup for us ever since we traded for him. Got a little bit of a fleece. I believe we got also that first round pick with him, which is pretty good for us. We got some good draft capital. And going back to that, actually, the Jags are somewhat developing themselves a good season as we go for Calvin Ridley on the curl route, but it wasn't even knocked out. It looked like he just dropped it now, 35. But like I was saying, that Jags first round pick is not looking as good as it was at first as we get it to Calvin Ridley on the crossing route. He just kind of lets himself get taken out of bounds there by Derek Stingley. But man, if I can get to what I'm talking about, oh, it looks like I won't get to it right now. As Tony Pollard jukes back inside, breaks Derek Stingley's ankles, but is tackled by Kamari Laster. But like I was saying, the Jags are building themselves quite a season, so that pick that we got from the Jags is getting worse and worse by the week. I think the Jags are like they're like 5-4, maybe .500 at 5-5, something like that. But I'm saying they're like really, unless the Texans can win this game, as of right now, they're kind of the only team that's really fighting for us for the division. As you see, the Colts aren't having themselves a good season. As we get it to Alec Ayamar, will he be able to get the first down? He will not. Fourth in inches here. We are in the goal line formation, and the Texans in this formation are not going to be able to do anything. Looks like the Texans might have just like gave up on that one. They knew it was coming in. They're like, you know what? We're not going to be able to stop it, so we're just going to let them have it. As Tig Okonkwo on the drag route is going to be in for his second touchdown of the day, and that was a little weird from the Texas guy. He kind of was standing still, and I actually realized that after the play. I paused the game. I was like, "Are you cool? Do you need me to pause it for a while?" I was like, "I seen him standing still." He was like, I'm good. I just had to do something." I was like, "Oh, if you had to do something." He paused it like a couple seconds earlier, and he came back off a pause, and obviously had to do something again. I would have paused it for him if he would have just said something. As Jalen Noel breaks some tackles, Jalen Noel escapes the tackle from Tom. Jesus, I can't speak. Johnny Egger. And the reason I can't speak is I just got a little bit of flashbacks there. I didn't expect that to happen. I saw Jalen Noel surrounded by like 3, 4 people, and I was like, "Oh, it's an easy tackle." I straight up picked up my phone and I went on. I had the little like touch activation. I opened up Instagram, looked at a quick reel, and I was like, "Oh, okay." As Kimura DK has some space, one man to beat. Jalen Petra, he will not have the tackle, and Kimura DK gets his kick return touchdown. And I guess the Madden guys rewarded us. They were like, "Oh, that last kick return touchdown for the Texans was a little bit of BS. We're going to give you one right back." But no, I won't say that's BS. His one was BS, but it was a little. I was so confused. That's why you guys saw me stop with Johnny Ecker. I looked back up because I had my volume on at the time, so I looked back up and I was like, "Why are the commentators like starting to go crazy?" And I see Jalen Noel just running crazy, and I'm like, how did he break all those tackles? It was like 3 people as CJ Stroud gets it to a X Factor lit up Nico Collins who hangs on to it. I was like, wow, man, if he got that touchdown, Jalen Noel must be like crazy or something. As we get it, we tackle Joe Mixon behind the line of scrimmage. Sorry about that. Cody Barton is the one to deactivate him finally, but the Texans still have a man lit up. They do not go for that man as they go to Tank Dell. Now 4th and inches. Mr. O with his 5th tackle of the game. The Texans in a goal line formation, handing it off to Joe Mixon in the backfield, who gets the first down. And I don't think he should have had that first down. Tavondre Sweat was right there, and he just missed it as Jonathan Greenyard takes down C.J. Stroud for his 3rd sack of the game. Now 30 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, 2nd and 18. C.J. Stroud chopping back to pass, just getting it over the head of Cody Barton to Tank Dell, who gets blown up after the catch on that slant route. Now 3rd and 5. This is the last play of the 3rd quarter. Joe Mixon will get about a yard. 4th and 4. The Texans have to make a decision here. And now that we are in the 4th quarter, you can go for it on 4th down anytime you like, whether you are winning or losing. The Texans obviously making the decision to go for it as they go for Nico Collins on the return route. Nico Collins is taken down by Xavier Woods, the man who had the pick six earlier. Now first and 10, a man in motion for the Texans. He goes across the field, but they just hand it off to Joe Mixon, who breaks a tackle from Cody Barton, breaks another tackle, but he does not get much more. He does not get anything at all. Second and 10, back in the 5 wide for the Texans. Nico Collins still lit up, but no, CJ Stroud goes outside for Joe Mixon, who will have a spinning broken tackle, but once again, not get much more as he was taken out of bounds, and that is one of the Texans linemen who was injured with, I believe that was elbow bursitis, a common injury in this league, as Nico Collins gets it on the drag route, makes a man miss, but does not get much more. And I feel like that is my one and only voice line. But you saw there, Nico Collins hit a little combo juke. I don't know, he went right, left. As the Texans handed off to Joe Mixon up the middle, he does not get anything. Second and goal in the trips formation. Looks like the Titans are dialing up a blitz. The Texans on the RPO gets it to Higgins on the outside. He gets a 1 yard gain now. Third and goal in 5 wide for the Texans. CJ Stroud just dots it in to take down Xavier Woods. Almost hit the bank a second time this game. That was an amazing throw by CJ Stroud. That was actually a bold throw by CJ Stroud. Just if he threw it to the left just a little bit more, that probably would have been picked off as Tony Pollard gets nothing on the first down play. A good run stop. Now play clock under 10. Cam Ward looking to pass it to Chico Conco on the drag route. Just gets about a 15-yard gain now at midfield. First and 10 from the 49, handing it off to Tony Pollard up the middle. Tony Pollard had himself a little bit of a gap there. Does not get anything now. Second and 5. We are almost in, or actually, I guess we are in Joey Sly's field goal range as we get it to Elganu Meyer on the corner route, who will get it up to the 27-yard line. Just a little bit over 4 minutes left in game. 1 point game. Handing it off to Tony Pollard. He does not get much. Only a 3-yard gain now in the 5 wide. 3 minutes, 30 seconds left. Play clock winding down. Cam Ward obviously looking to pass it. Cam Ward has time. He has all the time in the world. Gets it underneath to Kimari Dike. Kimari Dike makes a man miss. Tries to juke move. Cannot escape. Now first and 10. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left here. Cam Ward dropping back to pass it again. Texans dialing up a little bit of a blitz. Cam Ward had a guy wide open. Just missed it. And actually, that was because I looked to high pass it there. There was no reason for me to high pass it. At first, I thought it was a zone. Then I realized it was man coverage. So the reason it being a zone, that's why I kind of high passed it. I thought that linebacker might have got to it as we get it to Chico Conco over the middle, who tries to fight for his third touchdown of the game, but he does not get it. Will Anderson strained forearm. He will be back soon, hopefully before the end of the game, because the Texans need him. Elganu Meyer fights his way into the end zone. Kamari Lassiter cannot stop him. Now the 2 point conversion to make it a 7 point game. We hand it off to Tony Pollard up the middle, who gets in, making this now a 7 point game. Jimmy Ward had the best shot at stopping him, but did not hit it there. Now first and 10. Texans need a touchdown. CJ Stroud on a little bit of a play fake. CJ Stroud going deep for Nico Collins, but it's picked off by Cedric Gray. And Cedric Gray might have just ended the Texans' hope of preventing the season sweep. Now Tony Pollard stiff arming Jalen Bullock. Tony Pollard escaping. Tony Pollard running away, has an easy shot at the end zone, but he is selfless. He goes down. Do your little celebration because you have just won the game for the Titans, or maybe won the game. I mean, the Texans still have the 3 timeouts. They do not use one. First and 10, handing it off to Tony Pollard. They could use one now, and they don't. Surprisingly, they don't use a timeout as the third string running back Khalil Mullins takes it, and the Texans surprisingly just let that game go. Now I know if they did use all 3 timeouts, it still would have been a decently hard game for the Texans to win, because it probably would have been a 10 point game with a field goal up and good from Joey Sly. But they did have a chance. I mean, you run it 3 times, maybe even I might pass a ball in this situation. You could get like a lucky strip fumble or a pick and try to have yourself back in the game, but guess not. Texans was like, you know what, you can have it. You played your best, but now our Titans, we are in a good situation. We are 4-0 in the division. We play, I believe, the Seahawks next week. The Seahawks, yeah, we play the Seahawks, and then a week after that, we stay at home to take on the Jags. Or we're actually in a little bit of a four-game home streak here. So next week we take on the Seahawks at home. Luckily, we don't have to go to Lumen Field. Then after that, we will take on the Jaguars to hopefully advance to 5-0 in the division. And then the week after that, we have the Cleveland Browns away. So nice little two. Got two more games at home until we have to go on the road for two games against Cleveland and San Francisco. Then we get two more home games with Kansas City and New Orleans. And then for our last game of the season, we have an away game with the Jaguars. So, I mean, yeah, we played a good game. Cam Ward, he didn't have like a flashy, sad game. You saw him there only 13 for 21, under 200 yards. He had himself a couple touchdowns, so we are looking to get him to that 40 touchdown mark on the season to get him a little XP boost. I think if you guys remember that, that's the little goal: 40 passing touchdowns. But I mean, other than that, that's really going to be it for me in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop a like, drop a sub, drop a comment if you have any other ideas. As you see here, as a weekly recap, will take about the last 2 minutes of this video. But other than that, that's going to be it for me, and peace out.